In the world of the giver, everything is controlled. But there's one rule, especially for the receiver, that's just absolute. You cannot ask to be released. So today, we're going to dig into the secret, tragic story behind why that rule even exists. Seriously, think about it. This is the most important rule Jonas gets. And the crazy part? The receiver before him didn't have it. It's not just some suggestion. It's like a deadbolt on a door. So, what happened? What terrible event was so bad they had to create that lock? All right, so this is a rule born from failure, the story behind a mysterious prohibition. And the answer? Well, it's all tied to a past event so awful, they just call it the failure. This rule isn't just words on a page, you guys. It's a scar, a deep one, from a memory the community is trying desperately to bury. And we know this because the giver himself says it. He tells Jonas they hammered out those rules after the failure 10 years ago. 10 years? So the rules that basically chained Jonas to this job, they were born from some kind of massive catastrophe, a whole decade before he was even in the picture. And right here, this is the heart of it all. Look at this comparison. For Jonas, asking for release is absolutely forbidden. But for the person before him, that rule just wasn't there. It didn't exist. That one tiny change, that one new rule, changes everything. Okay, so let's unveil the identity of Jonas's predecessor, the receiver named Rosemary. I mean, who was this person at the center of the failure? For a whole decade, you couldn't even say her name. She was like a ghost, this nameless, cautionary tale. Until now. And then the giver finally says it. Her name was Rosemary. Just wow. You can feel the weight of 10 years of silence in that one name. The pain, the love, it's all there. Rosemary, she was the one who came before Jonas. And get this, she wasn't just some random choice. She was apparently incredible. Intelligent, serene, totally self-possessed, and really eager to learn. The giver paints this picture of someone who was, by all accounts, the absolute perfect person for the job. And, this went way beyond just a teacher-student thing. The giver felt a deep love for Rosemary. It was that same incredible connection he ends up having with Jonas, and that's what makes this so devastating. It wasn't just a community failure. For him, it was a deeply personal tragedy. So her training, it started off so well. We're talking about a progression from laughter to anguish. Imagine this room, which had only ever known quiet and serious work, suddenly filled with joy and laughter. But that light, that happiness, it was about to get snuffed out by the true weight of being the receiver. And it happened so fast, it's really chilling. Look at this timeline. In just 5 weeks. Week 1, pure joy. Merry-go-rounds, kittens, laughter. By week 3, she's insisting on getting the hard stuff, wanting to take on her responsibility. But by week 5, she's getting memories of pure anguish, poverty, hunger, terror. She was so brave asking for those memories, but she just had no idea what she was really asking for. And that was the point of no return. The giver explains it so painfully. He says, I backed off, gave her more little delights, but everything changed once she knew about pain. I could see it in her eyes. Once she felt that first real, deep pain, something broke. The giver saw it, that spark, that laughter. It was just gone, replaced by shadows. Which brings us to the moment everything changed. A request for release. After one last, really hard training session, she made a decision. A quiet, firm decision that was about to change everything for the entire community. The giver remembers her final action so clearly. There was no big, dramatic scene. After a tough session, she just silently came over to him. She kissed him on the cheek, and then she went straight to the chief elder and asked to be released. Just like that. So much resolve in that quiet moment. And here's the kicker. She asked for release, and they had to give it to her. That rule, the one that forbids it for Jonas, it didn't exist yet. So they had to say yes. They performed the ceremony, and Rosemary was released. She was gone. But the memories she was holding, they were not. So this is when the memories broke free. The consequences for the community were absolutely devastating. See, her release wasn't the end of the story. Nope, it was the beginning of a total catastrophe. The community was about to get a crash course in why their whole society was built on one person carrying all their baggage. So here's how it works, and it's crucial to understanding why this was so bad. When a receiver is released, the memories they hold don't just poof, disappear. They go back. They go back to the community, flooding everyone's minds. It's like opening a Pandora's box they didn't even know existed.
And think about this, she only had 5 weeks of memories. 5! Most of them were probably happy ones, right? But it didn't matter. Those few memories of loneliness and fear and real pain, that was all it took to completely shatter a community that had never felt anything but, well, sameness.
Now look at this chart. This is where it really hits you. Rosemary had 5 weeks of memories, and it was a total disaster. Jonas, he has a full year's worth. If what happened with Rosemary was a disaster, what would happen if Jonas were lost? It wouldn't just be a disaster, it would be a full-blown cataclysm. So what happened in the aftermath? Well, the community was just overwhelmed. They were hit with feelings they had never, ever experienced before. And the giver? He was so devastated by his own grief and anger that he couldn't help them. The whole thing was a complete and utter disaster. Their perfect, orderly world just broke. So when you put it all together, Rosemary's story isn't just a sad piece of history. It is the reason for the tremendous weight on Jonas's shoulders. It shows us the catastrophic potential if he were to be lost. Her failure explains everything, why the stakes are so high for Jonas, and why his whole community is basically terrified of real feelings. And that leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? If Jonas's much, much larger collection of memories returned to the people, could a community learn to feel again? I mean, Rosemary's failure led to more rules, more control. But what if a so-called failure on the scale of Jonas wasn't a failure at all? What if it was the only thing that could finally wake them up?